wonder we call it Mother Earth. It is the environment around us that nourishes us. We call it Mother Nature, and our country is most often referred to as Mother India. India is a paradox. We are a country who worship the divine female as the goddess, and yet there are several forms of violence inflicted against women, such as rapes, honor killings, infanticides, and domestic violence. It is appalling that there is a rape happening in India every 15 minutes, and every fourth victim is a minor. There is a 700% increase in cases of rape in the last 36 years. It is saddening to know that only 65% of our country's women are literate and only 24% contribute to the country's workforce. Why are there so many rapes and other crimes against women in our country? Why are millions of women and children trafficked for sex work in India? The answer to all these questions boils down to who we are as a society. We need a major social reform to change the ingrained patriarchy and misogyny in our society. In today's episode, we have a renowned activist, feminist, Ms. Brinda Adige, to talk about the goddesses of India.
It's so low. Why is it that a city like Bangalore has the lowest literacy rate than other districts in Karnataka? Can you imagine? And we call ourselves as the Silicon City. So my thinking is probably there is a very, very systematic happening. I do not know, the machinery that is there to keep people illiterate, because it serves a purpose to a lot of different others. And as long as you're illiterate, you are not going to be aware of what are your rights. I am not able to read and write. Then where am I going to read about my rights? Where am I going to have knowledge and understanding about my rights? How do I know that this is what is expected for me from my elected representatives, from the government servants? Because we are still continuing in that colonial era where we say that I have to vote this person into power, he will now look after me till I die. Now, there is no looking after, but I will die. So I have given my vote, and I have to, of course, continue to pay my taxes, and there is nothing looking after me. It's just that I go ahead. And we have a classic example of this migration that is happening just now with this COVID lockdown and the entire COVID battle that we are fighting. The lakhs of people. Now, what is it? They are illiterate. They never demanded anything from their own government, and they didn't demand anything from this government in our state also. They starved. We spoke about PDS. We spoke about disaster management. We spoke about why are you not getting ration? Then I personally want to ask this question. You introduced Aadhaar for this. Right. You said when you have Aadhaar, you will have an identity across India. You can avail the services of the government free of cost depending on your economic status. Now, that never happened. So what did you do? So when you talk of literacy, we want to ask, is the government serious that our citizens want to be literate, should be made literate? Or do you want to continue to enslave in this fashion? Yes, patriarchy and this entire issue revolving around the power of caste system. And to the earlier question also, patriarchy applies a lot because in a way that is power, where I will see to it that you remain in a phase and in a situation of ignorance so that you don't raise your voice. When we are talking about sexuality and patriarchy, everybody will get upset and angry when you speak of both of it in the same sentence. But that is the fact. Yes. Patriarchy doesn't allow us to even talk in hand because patriarchy has systematically seen that sexuality is not talked about,
Right.
is never discussed, and certainly not brought out in the open. And there is this entire conditioning that women have to behave, talk, walk, dress in a certain fashion. And it is also said that women are the biggest proponents of patriarchy. To a large extent, it is true, because that burden,
Yes.
in a way, as a privilege,
Yes.
has been this conditioning that has happened for centuries together, and we are still not, forget breaking it, we are even finding it difficult to chip off.
Correct.
Bits and pieces here and there is becoming difficult, because every time you do something like that, you as an individual will be called a bad woman.
Right.
You will be called someone who's breaking the entire cultural fabric. Is looked at as someone who does not want to allow peace, shanti, to be there.
Correct.
Whether a woman who is talking about domestic violence, or a woman who calls out street harassment, or a woman who is coming forward to report crime or any other form of gender-based violence, is always looked at as the provocator,
Right.
as the temptress. And this other person, men mostly, are looked at as, so powerful. They just got caught in that jal, in that trap. And we have not, the most shocking thing, of course, what we witnessed was a couple of weeks ago, when the High Court judge in Karnataka
Yes.
made this shocking statement, unbecoming of an Indian woman,
Yes.
to have been ravished and then fallen off asleep.
Yes.
And so I'm granting you bail. Can you imagine the mindset? That is not education at all.
Right.
He's literally academically qualified.
Yes.
When are we going to educate the judiciary? Big question. I don't even know the answer to it. So we need to begin talking about this patriarchy and sexuality in our homes.
Right.
It's time for us to start talking about it, because we as a culture, as a society, rarely talk about these things, because we say, children mustn't talk about this. We parents must not discuss this. Earlier, I still remember when I was young, there would be some scenes that would come on the films, and we'll have my grandmother or my aunt, somebody say, go get some water and come, ma. Oh yeah, that's it. You mustn't even watch that. But today we have to change, because you're looking at how pornography has entered our homes,
Yes.
has entered schools. Why? It's entered even the legislature.
Right.
And when you have elected representatives sitting there and watching porn, how can we blame others?
Right.
How can we call out others? Right. What we also want to ask ourselves is, why are we not holding anybody responsible and accountable?
Right.
Look at all the education lessons that we have, the textbook lessons that we have. Some time ago we saw in one of the states, why women give dowry? Because they are dark, they are short, and they are ugly.
Yes.
If this is my textbook, and a textbook is not prepared by 2-3 people, there is always 6-7, a team that is preparing. Supposedly everybody with fantastic academic qualifications, and yet education hasn't entered in their language, has not entered into what they write, what they subscribe for students.
Right.
So when we are talking of patriarchy, we need to understand patriarchy is not simply what we say that, fighting, feminists are fighting. No. Patriarchy is asking for us to be treated as human beings, whoever it may be. Women, we have to begin with giving that economic worth to women's work, which we haven't done. You look at the minimum wages, you look at the equal wages, it's still a challenge to implement and enforce that. When we are talking of 70 years plus, and we are not able to bring in minimum wages or equal wages, and women's work per se, again like patriarchy and sexuality, is not recognized, never acknowledged. It has been sidelined and said that that is her duty. You're born a woman, your duty to clean the kitchen, to cook food, to look after children. You take leave if my parents and your parents are unwell. You can forego everything. See the uprising that happened when the law came in, 6 months of pregnancy leave.
Correct.
Immediately clauses coming in over there. You cannot come back after 6 months and claim that same position that you were in.
Correct.
You cannot also claim another promotion.
Correct.
You will be there and then we will see your work. So you will judge me by the 6 months leave that I had to take because my biology permits me to have a baby. I would have been very happy for my husband's biology to have the baby. I would have actually taken leave and stayed at home with him. But the entire political, economic agenda that looks at 6 months that I took leave, you will consider whether I will be promoted or not. But 6 years that I worked is just gone because of that leave. And this is where we have to fault people, especially our lawmakers and policy makers. Now you said that less than 20% in the workforce, more than 90% in the unorganized sector. These are statistics by the government itself, by the studies that are there by reputed institutions and organizations, plus over 50% to the GDP. Now, why would you not want to recognize that? Isn't that a political game that you're playing? Isn't that an economic game that you're playing? Sidelining this 90% of workforce contributing to over 50% of the GDP. No law to question you. You will not even make the laws better for us workers. The recent months we've seen how all the labor laws have been diluted, if not refuted and taken away. So you want to do this so that A, the work is not recognized and not made worthy. So the minute you remove these two things from that agenda, I don't have a voice to raise my voice. I don't have a platform to raise my voice and ask for that. So you will say that domestic work can be done by men or women, because today there are men also doing a lot of domestic work in homes and other places. You have not put a minimum wage. The minimum wage that you have put is 7 years old, 20 rupees an hour. I can't even take an auto minimum fare for 20 rupees. How did you decide? You will not look at that law to amend it.